Well, good mountain morning to you here, Modern Mountain Man and Chickadee and Lucy. So, just giving you a quick little update on the chicken who was mothering the ducks. I know some of you guys have asked me about whatever happened with that project. Well, what you're about to see is some footage that I filmed a while back, and I forgot to edit it and upload it. Stay to the end and you'll see why we neglected to edit and upload that. Coming up on Modern Mountain Man. So a few things that we've learned about the ducks is they are a mess. So normally we just let our chicks free range with their mamas. Because one, they're not going to go far. Two, they're really good at getting bugs. But for some reason, these ducks, they just like to hang out here in the carport. Like, they run around all over the place too. But they like to hang out in this carport and just poop all over the place. Well, that's not the only place they're a mess. Over here in this little broody box where they live, man, I changed the bedding pretty regularly. And they mess it up real good. They dirty the water every day real good, all that. So we knew that coming into it. They come over here talking to us.
Opal's messy.
Yeah, that's the other thing is, as dirty as these ducks are, they've gotten their mommy really dirty. She used to be bright white, and now she's got like this muddy tail thing going on. Poor thing. Motherhood has got you looking haggard, Opal Jr. But check this out. These guys, they're only 3 weeks old, and they're almost as big as Opal over here. She's not a very big chicken, but they're going to outpace her real soon. So Chickadee, what kind of things have you noticed about these chickens raising ducks thing?
Well, the ducklings make different noises than the chickens do.
That's true.
They make a funny peeping noise.
It's funny, like there was definitely a learning curve for the Broody Hen and using her chicken communications to ducks. For a while there, she was communicating them to no avail, and I could see it was frustrating her. But eventually, they learned what her little commands were, and they follow her and do what she says now.
Yeah.
You were also mentioning that when you get up at night to go get water or something from the sink, and you're near the carport, you can hear the ducks talking at night.
Yes.
So ducks, I mean, they're practically nocturnal, and man, if you know anything about chickens, they're looking for the bed as soon as it starts to get just like a little bit dark. So that's, I'm sure, is fun for the chicken mama in the sense that she's probably trying to get some sleep, and they're trying to do all kinds of things. There was one time with the hog pan that we have in there, when we filled it up full of water for them, the first time any of the ducklings tried to get in the water, the chicken absolutely flipped out over her babies. They're getting wet. So that's definitely been a funny thing.
Yes.
But I mean, they are so cute, just walking around the yard together, eating grass, picking bugs out of the garden, all that good stuff. By and large, she loves those ducks just like they were her own little chickens, right? And but yeah, they're outgrowing her quick. We showed you just a minute ago that they are a mess, and Mama doesn't like that. So we're gonna work on building them their own little duck house that is not on the carport. We're gonna work also on taking that brooder box and making it different so it's no longer on the carport for future broodings. We'll have that around back near more where the homestead action happens instead of where the car parking action happens. So that's a little update on our duckling chicken experiment. Going well. But yeah, they're 3 weeks old. So the plan is to keep 3 of them and eat the rest. And so the eater ones, they've got about 6 more weeks left. So, but they're growing like crazy. They're huge, and they don't even have feathers yet. They're still fluffy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think it's really cool to have ducklings raised by a chicken.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. And because we didn't have a duck mama around here, but we had plenty of chicken mamas.
Yeah, we may have another duck.
I think you're a chicken mama. Now it's for us to tell the sad story, okay? Cue the sad music. Well, the reason why you didn't get to see that footage back in real time several weeks ago when that was filmed was about a day or two after we filmed that. One Sunday morning we woke up to go to church, and as we went outside that morning, right in front of the brooder, we used to have the brooder over there in the carport. Right in front of the brooder there was a pile of white feathers. Evidently some animal came and tried to attack our little ducklings and little Opal. So her name is Opal Jr. because her mom's name is Opal. We'd actually given her her own name. We said, you know what? She's so cool. She's done such a good job taking care of these chicks. She gets her own name. So we changed her name from Opal Jr. to Azul, which is the Spanish word for blue. Yeah, there was a little pile of azul feathers all over the place. There was one little pile in the carport, and then about 80 yards away from our house there was another pile. And so I think whatever it was that attacked it was tall enough that it didn't have to drag the chicken away because there was no feathers in between those two piles. So I'm thinking it was either a dog or a coyote or something like that. Probably not one of the skunks or possums that we've had problems with in the past. Oh, yeah. So probably one of the saddest little things that I saw that morning was all the little ducks coming out and picking up the feathers that were left there from their mom and carrying them around in their mouth. They were just like, they were sad their mom was gone. They were carrying the feathers around looking for their mom. So that was probably the saddest thing that I saw that morning, other than the bird being dead. So real sad. You know, Azul, or Opal Jr., is no longer with us, but her baby ducks still are. So let's go over and check them out. I'll show you how they're doing. Look at you with your little buddies.
That was scary.
All right, well, over here is our duck tractor. It looks way different than last time you saw it, because last time you saw it, 1, it had chickens in it. 2, it had chicken wire and a tarp. It was designed after the $30 30-minute Alumna Acres chicken tractor. But we switched it up. We put some hardware cloth on there. We put some PVC roofing on there to help it match our chickshaw over here. In addition to just mixing it up so it would match better, we also put that on there to make it more secure. We'd had some problems with some predators ripping through tarps and ripping through chicken wire, so we figured we want something a little bit more durable. Let's pop in here and check these ducks out real quick. All right, it's about time for their daily move, but you see them out there starting to get a little more feathered in here. Now, we've got 9 ducks in here. These are Silver Appleyards for those of you who have not been following along. The plan is for those 9 Silver Appleyards we have in there is this. 3 of them we're going to keep. We're going to keep 1 male, 2 females, just to have a sustainable breeding population there. And the other 6 we're going to eat.
Now, what I have learned about processing ducks is there are some magic weeks for processing them. And it all has to do with feather growth. You either process them on week 7, week 12 and a half, or week 18. And just they're easier to pluck those weeks because of their feather growth. So these ones are scheduled to be slaughtered because they'll be at the week 12 and a half mark about midway through August, or end of September. They could be the 18th. So we're still making up our mind. We might slaughter all 6 of them at the 12 and a half mark, or we may do 3 at the 12 and a half and 3 at the 18. But the reason why we've got them in here inside the electric fence with the chickens is we're just letting them get to know each other, hang out a little bit. The 3 that we're going to keep, at least for the time being, will be in the fence with the chickens. Not long after the mother hen died, we moved them into this chicken tractor, and now duck tractor. One thing I've learned about tractoring ducks is they don't tractor nearly as well as chickens do. Man, the chickens, I would just dump their feed on the ground, and the chickens would all run to the front of the tractor, and I could slide the tractor right along. These little ducks don't tractor quite as well. They run to the back corner, even when they're hungry for their food. Normally what I'll do is I'll get Chickadee or Bow Guy to come back here and tap on the back of the chicken tractor and scare them to the front, and I'll move it forward like a foot, and then they'll all run to the back, and then we will repeat the process until we get a good move. But I'll show you a few of the spots over here where we've moved them a few times. They moved over here, they stayed there for a couple extra days than they should have, and they moved on over there where it's a little bit patchy, and then you just see where we were slowly moving them here and here. And then like this worst spot, that's the week we were on vacation. I didn't want to make the young lady who was house sitting for us have to go through that moving procedure, so they sat there for about 3 or 4 days. Then we kind of like slowly moved them in here, moved them past this fence, and we've been moving them along on inside the fence over here. We've just been tractoring them while they're in here. Like I said, pretty soon we'll slaughter either 3 or 6 of them, and then integrate the other 3, the keepers, into the flock over here. Some of you guys may remember that Opal Senior was starting to lay some eggs in the carport when we started doing the duck video. Well, we moved the brooder from the carport to back around here by the basement, and check her out. So she's the mama of all the white birds on the farm except for John Deere, who's the daddy, and she would be the foster grandmother of the ducks. But we've got 9 of these little white phoenixes. We'll probably keep 1 or 2 of the hens just for their broody quality. But maybe I'll, at this time, instead of processing the cockerels, I will see if I can trade them for something. Somebody who wants a beautiful Phoenix rooster like John Deere, I'll trade them out for something that I want or something I want to eat. For those of you who watched the video where I showed how to integrate the young pullets into the existing flock, well, 1, it was smashing success. They're all best friends now. The pecking order has been established. If you watched that video, you may remember that we were in the garden spot at that point in time. I had the chickens overwintering in the garden. I figured that could be beneficial on multiple fronts. 1, they could get rid of some bugs. 2, they could fertilize. Here's a little update on the garden. Over here, man, we've got all kinds of amazing just vines just growing everywhere. We've got butternut and pumpkin. There's one of my little butternut growing right there. Got some cucumbers growing on the trellis over here. We've got a lot of tomatoes growing over here. Tomato plants per se. A lot of tomatoes on the vine, but none of them have gone ripe yet. I'll show you a little something over here that might be interesting to you. You know how they say if you see your tomato plant fruiting too young, you should pluck the fruit and not let it stunt its growth? Well, I've always just done that, but this time I thought I'd experiment. See this little bitty tomato plant right here? He is the same age as all of these big ones you see over here that are just as tall as the fence post. But I let him grow tomatoes early on, and you see he's not even maybe a foot tall yet. So there's proof you should listen to the experts. Don't let your tomatoes fruit too young. The cantaloupe vines and the watermelon vines are a little bit behind everything else. They're not nearly as wild as the pumpkin and butternut vines are. And the squash, yellow squash, and zucchini vines have just been absolutely prolific this year. One of the cool things about, like I said, overwintering the chickens in here, not only did they fertilize this, but man, I don't have the squash bugs that I've had in here in years past. They pretty well cleaned them out. So I'm excited about that. We have been absolutely inundated with zucchini, so we've been inundating our church and our friends with them lately. Then of course we got the hot peppers over here. Well, guys, there's your little update from the Modern Mountain Homestead. Just our garden, our chickens, our ducks, all that good stuff. We're just getting started with all this sort of thing. But you know what? I think a lot of you guys are too, who are into this sort of thing. You're probably either just getting started or you remember back when. So I appreciate you guys following along. Appreciate you guys asking about how the ducks were doing. Like I said, sad story about Opal Jr. But you know what? Her heritage lives on in those ducks. Hopefully some of them grow up to be good mamas too. And like I said, I've got Opal's mama. I've got her little sisters. So we will brood some more next year. I'm thinking about getting into some midget white turkeys, thinking about getting into some other heritage breed chicken. I was at the Jamestown settlement this past 4th of July, and I saw a heritage breed of chickens that like pretty into right now, the Dorkings. So they're supposed to be like super good tasting and super heritage and awesome. So I'm gonna look into all that sort of stuff. So that might be my next brooding project, is some midget whites or some Dorkings, but we'll see. But until then, God bless you and go take your mount.